I don't see myself as a dying breed at all. If you've been around the city where it's all a different kind of life, you might think so. But if you're out in the mountains, you're in the country, or on a ranch, or even on the large farms, hell, you know it ain't dying out.
Late summer, the Colorado Rockies. Wildflowers, aspen, and spruce blanket the slopes at 10,000 feet. In the shadow of Scarp Ridge in July of 1879, the stroke of a prospector's pick unearthed a blood-red mass of ruby silver, and the Forest Queen mine began operation. A century later, a weather-beaten sign marks the turnoff as we head up the hill. Ahead, a stack of Lincoln logs and some old rusted and battered cars, a cabin, the office. The door is open and the sign reads, "Welcome, visitor." Inside on the table is a guest register and a notebook filled with a remarkable testimony to the man who lives here.
This place is like a fairy house in the middle of the wilderness.
Thanks for having the trust in people to leave this unbelievably fine cabin open all year.
Thank you for restoring my faith in humanity by being so trusting and allowing a long-held fantasy of mine to come true, an isolated cabin with a view as spectacular and awesome as this.
Doggone it, I remember traveling and wishing I could have a place to stop and so, and I'm sure that many of the tourists who come in now and stop in and visit for a few hours, I'm sure they do enjoy that change, and I'm just not grabbing dollars from them. They're just welcome.
Colonel John Hahn retired from the service in 1959 and began his senior citizen career by attempting to reopen the Forest Queen mine, a major task for a small army, to say nothing of a single man now 73.
This is I call my warehouse. Right here I got rails. These are the rails I used to go underground. Some of the pipes here too. And then an area where automotive junk is put. And boy, an extra cable for the hoist. Don't look like much, but it's good cable.
John's determination to salvage and recycle his parts and equipment is not only an inspiration, but a historical document as well.
So when my brother come up here 20 years later and needed some equipment, well, he got this compressor from Pennington. It's a good unit. It's got good rings. The cylinders are good. It works good. It just happens to be old. Now to run that compressor, why I brought in this about a 55 Pontiac. I put a little lead in the differential, so I'll have all on the rear wheel there, and this does real good running the compressor. The odd thing is, when the engine is sitting still, there's not enough air to keep it cool. So I run extra water in the radiator just to compensate for the lack of air.
John bought this black Chevy new in 1941 and drove it through Europe and Japan during World War II. Today, it runs the ore crusher. The hoist and winch for the main shaft are powered by an old Army cargo carrier. All this equipment still works. The last ore produced at the Forest Queen mine was more than 6 years ago, after John tried to excavate the old stopes left from the mining operations of the last century.
Here they were, the mining already done and the rock broken. Just bring it up and put it through the mill. So I give it a try. And after I got a few hours run through the mill and got my samples and assayed them, I knew that wasn't so. They carry just 4 ounces of silver to the ton. Won't even pay for the gasoline to run the engines. It's just not economical.
Do you expect to find silver?
Yes. It's in the vault. It's down there in pockets, and I'm going to find it.
The final processing of the ore takes place down these dilapidated stairs at the ball mill. Inside, a John Deere tractor drives a giant corkscrew called the classifier. Another tractor provides power to this electrical panel for the ball mill and the flotation cells. The final dusty gray concentrate is then sold to a smelter.
And I really expect to find the vein, and I've seen it. It runs about 5 feet wide, but along each side are your little paste streaks. And scattered through the center is some of the silver ore. I want to get the mine started. I don't want the money. I think it's quite a job, and I think I can do the job.
John spends less than $2,000 each year on the operation of the mine, and his fiscal attitude is markedly conservative.
No, somehow I just don't like to take people's savings and just spend them for equipment and work and labor unless I can return it all. So I have just that little bit of doubt about taking somebody else's money and spending it, and maybe I can't get it all back. Now, if I do start it, and I'm going to, why then it's self-evident that it'll keep itself going.
I ask if there is something in particular that attracts him to mining.
Oh, I thought it was the valley. Because, hey, you just come in here and it's one of the few valleys that everyone likes. It's a joy just to see the sunrise. It's a joy just to look out the window and see the mountains. I think that's the main reason.
John's day begins shortly after dawn when he prepares a light breakfast of fruit and a hot drink. After moving to the living room for some exercises to strengthen his back, he talks about mining regulations and the federal bureaucracies.
Well, doggone it. Here on this mine safety thing, 4 men have been running this state of Colorado adequately for years. Now these federal people come in here with 20 to do the same job. Why, they're crazy. They ought to be cut way back to 4. 4 men's enough. Yeah, that's my trouble with the federal bureaucracy. They just lack common sense.
Mining in this area has never been easy. John's cabin overlooks the old town of Irwin, which once had a population of 5,000 before the federal government demonetized silver in 1896. Recently, several thousand new claims have been filed, some by giant corporations which threaten to destroy the delicate alpine environment. It is in contrast to this that John's open cabin and personalized approach to mining seem so in tune with contemporary concerns. Today's task is to continue work on a tunnel to drain and reopen the 200-foot level of the mine.
In 6 years, I've gone 237 feet. It's going to be a 1,000-foot run. So while I've got less than 800, it's just about 800 feet more to go.
At that rate, John will be 93 years old when he completes the tunnel.
Oh, I like these trees for the shade. I could take them out any time, but I don't like the bare ground. Trees are much nicer than just a bare open place.
At the tunnel site, John demonstrates the diesel air compressor which runs his equipment and explains how he dug a mile-long ditch to provide water for the mine.
Since I'm flooded out, I put in 400 feet of 8-inch pipe to reach up to the ditch and develop me a head of water pressure. And now I use that water pressure to give me lights in the tunnel. An automotive 12-volt generator, I put a little impulse squeal on it, and we just run it with water.
John's age seems to be no hindrance, even when it comes to moving heavy objects.
You pick up one end and lean it against the car, then pick up the other end and put it on the car and push it in the tunnel. That's about far enough. That'll bounce it off the car and it'll fall right in there. fit. Now I want to use this chain a moment. In here I can't trust my eye to see when things are straight up. I need a plumb bob.
Inch by inch, year after year, John Hahn pursues his goal to mine the Forest Queen. A high-pressure hose is today's main weapon in the attack on gravel and mud, which must be excavated and removed from the tunnel before he finds hard rock and can use dynamite. We asked John if he had any final words for the viewers of What's Up America.
Oh, just do what they like to. That's the secret of it. You just don't fight it. And if there's some things you don't like, well, learn to change your attitude. It can be done. It makes a big difference. Attitude's a tremendous help.